All right, everybody. It's Mr. C. I'm just double checking my microphone. Okay, just to make sure it's on. Okay, so good afternoon on this fantastic Friday. High schoolers, ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th, and 12th grade. We are here for our session is for music theory and composition. So thank you for joining me. And yeah, I'm glad that you guys are here. I'm glad to be here. We are going to do a couple of things. Okay. Today's lesson, I'm going to start off with a hymn called "Hold On." Okay, it's a spiritual in the generation. It's like a folk song, and no in lots of churches and other churches, some churches, and we'll talk about the lyrics in that song in a little bit. But also, lesson is about accidentals, meaning flats and sharps. Okay, in music, and then also applying them in key signatures and how to read key signatures. Okay, so that'll be the extent of our lesson. But before I get into all of that, I want to remind our homeschooling parents. Okay, and you guys can remind them as well to like and share this content, these videos that I have, as well as subscribe to the channels. Please subscribe to the channel, guys, so that this way we can just keep on giving more of this content. Okay, subscribe, be a subscriber to this channel, and also a standard amount of time for any lesson, whether private, if you're taking private piano or you're taking private violin, any instrument, vocals, anything like that. Half an hour is the standard duration for any kind of lesson. And so these particular lessons are half an hour in length. I really encourage you guys to stay for the entire half hour, okay, not just 5 minutes, because you can't get all of the information. As anybody's been watching, I'm very detailed about all the lessons, and which is very important. Every detail does count. It's really necessary to get every part, because it's like, of course, it's like putting together something. We use the owner's manual to put together something. If we miss one part, if we miss one step, then yeah, we're going to miss the whole thing, and then of course it won't get built. And that's the idea behind what I teach. When I teach music, it's not just sing-alongs, even though sing-alongs are great. Okay, it's a great music educational part, but at the same time, I am very detailed about the skills and skills in music. What we're learning is a skill, and so you should stay on for the entire half hour for the lesson, so that music can be, it can be confusing sometimes if we don't get every part. Okay, so I do encourage everybody to just stay for the entire lesson, and again, I am glad for you guys to be here. Please also spread the word. Again, subscribe, and by the way, when you do subscribe, will allow you to get notifications through email, get emails regarding our classes. Again, I think for a second I had a little pop-up thing that said my Wi-Fi connection was unstable, but now it's gone. So let me just repeat that a little bit. Again, hit the notification button when you do subscribe to my channel, to Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy YouTube channel. Also hit the notification button so that this way you will get notifications through email, okay, about the upcoming classes that will be happening in the future. Okay, but in any event, also I would like to remind you to become a member of Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy. And the way to do that, as is in the description of this video, is to go on to patreon.com/Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy. Again, Patreon is spelled patreon.com/Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy. And you can become a member for a minimum of $1, and you'll get benefits such as live Q&As with me, answering all kinds of musical and educational questions, and also you'll be able to have access to video courses that I have up regarding lesson planning, especially for you homeschooling parents. Lesson planning, establishing routines and expectations, and all of that stuff that can really be useful in every subject, no matter what you teach. But also the video courses that I have stem along the lines of how to teach music. I teach parents how to teach music as well. So you'll be able to get access to that, which is exclusive only to members. Plus also what's coming up in December, our holiday open mic. So our Christmas open mic thing, we are going to be doing my virtually, and I would like to encourage you guys to come with your favorite Christmas song and sing it for us, and we'll have a great time. Open mics are a wonderful time to just be able to perform and get your feet wet in performing and expression and all of that, guys. Even original songs would be great. Okay, if we have some composers out there, some songwriters, okay, and you wanna sing something original, preferably if it can be a Christmas song, that'd be great. Okay, just kind of get into the juices of writing for a Christmas piece. But if it's just something else as well, so long as it's clean too. Okay, let's also be clean as we do that. And you guys can definitely again perform for a virtual audience. Okay, and we're just gonna have a great time jamming like that. Okay, but here we go. Let's get right into our lessons for today. Let's start with the spiritual as promised. The song is called "Hold On," and actually, we're also going to do some a little bit of warm up exercises. What I mean by that is stretching. Okay, just some stretching for our voice since we are about to sing. While we're doing that, parents or if you or you high schoolers, I'm sure you're very capable. If you can get the lyrics for this, maybe on a tablet or on a phone or something like that, you can go onto Google search engine and find the song "Hold On," okay, and type in lyrics, of course, "Hold On" lyrics into the search engine, and you should easily be able to find this particular song. But "Hold On" is a spiritual, like a folk song. It's no particular songwriter or composer, author to this particular song, but has been passed down from generation to generation. It has been a tradition in some churches. And the particular song "Hold On" really has a lot to do. If you take a look at the lyrics, has a lot to do with just enduring through tough times. Okay, as we know it, life can be tumultuous. It can be very tough, and especially you teenagers, especially for you guys. I've been there. Decisions, life decisions. What to do with your life, and what we're going through, and the things that we go through. Even just not just decisions, decisions and everything, and what we should do. I mean, that's going to be forever for the rest of your lives, guys. That our Creator, God in heaven, does help us through, allows us, He makes us strong enough to endure. Okay, so that's what I think about whenever I sing this song. Okay, and it's such a reminder, a constant. Either way, sing along. Okay, again, the name of this song is called "Hold On." Okay, my internet connection. There's another window that just came up right now, and it was a little. So I hope you guys got all that. Again, hold on. We're going to sing it together. Hopefully you got those lyrics, okay? And let's be reminded that God makes us strong enough to endure hardships, okay? That's why we're here, and we got to thank Him for that, right? So let's do this. Here we go. Sing along. Know it, not know it. Use the words. Sing along. Here we go. Mary wore the links of chain. Every link was Jesus' name. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on. God gave no other rainbow sign. No more water but fire next time. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your that cloud. Hold on. Well, I hope you like that. I know I certainly did. And kudos to singing. Good job, guys. You know what I forgot to do? Mr. C makes mistakes, these weird mistakes all the time. And I'm sure you homeschool, anybody who's taught, okay? Sure, we make mistakes. We forgot to warm up by stretching, okay? I told you we were going to do that before we start. But hey, we didn't get to do it. Sometimes actually technically when it comes to vocal exercises or just vocal discipline in any way, sometimes it's even necessary to just right away off the bat start singing even before you get into the stretching or even the drills. Okay, so there are times when I've just used a particular song with my students, and because it's been done to me, my own teachers have done this, where they just had me start singing a song right away, even without a warm up. Okay, and usually that occurs that happens. You could do that when it's part of the repertoire. Okay, in case you don't know what repertoire means, it's kind of like your laundry list of songs that you know or that you've learned. Okay, your musical resume, if you will. Okay, but so sometimes my teachers would just be like, okay, let's do this song that you did before. Okay. And we'll warm up with that song, and then we'll get into the song that you're learning. So sometimes, yeah, the warm-ups don't come. Come first. There's nothing wrong with that because the song itself can provide for you a sort of warm-up. And even if you happen to mess up, that's great too, because then you start to hear, performance can be like that too. If you've noticed, for you guys who have performed or have never, just to let you know, sometimes performances happen right away. It's like ready or not, go. It does that. So that's my little tip for you. Sometimes you got to just be ready to go, even with proper warm up and all the rehearsals. There's no such thing as perfection. You could have achieved, your best, but perfection is not something that we're able to do. Okay, that only belongs to God in heaven, right? But that's okay. That's okay, because again, we learn through our mistakes, and sometimes we can find beauty in the imperfection. Really awesome that way. Very awesome and very weird concept to grasp, but yeah, definitely, that definitely happens. Okay. Anyway, that's my little advice, my little tip for you. Let's get right into the core of our lesson. Okay. Now here we're talking about accidentals. Okay. Let's make sure that you guys have with you a pencil with a good erasers, or multiple pencils, whatever you got, and your manuscript book. Okay, when I say manuscript book, I mean music sheet books or notebooks. Okay, or if you were able to make up your own by drawing your own staff lines, but this is just mine right over here. Okay, I know weeks ago I did ask for you guys to try to get one of these from the store, order it online, whatever, print it out free from the internet if you could, or what have you, or even just make up your own. But have these handy, okay? If you need to even get a blank sheet of 8.5 by 11 and start drawing your own staff lines, do that right now, okay? But we're about to get into writing, so get that stuff ready, because there's a lot of writing that we're going to do. Of course, composition. Yeah, we get into that stuff. So I'm just going to put the camera on the whiteboard, on my whiteboard here, and let's get going. Here we go. So we're talking about accidentals. I'm sure you guys can see all of me. Hold on. Whoa. Hold on. Yeah, there goes my song. There goes that song again. Catch myself doing that because I'm trying to move stuff out of the way. But in any event, let me adjust my camera a little bit more. There we go. This way you can see all of me once again. So I'm going to write, you could use this as a heading, at the top of your manuscript paper, accidentals. Okay, let's head it like that. That just seems to be right. Also just, let's put a slash there and put key signatures. Okay, now key signatures and accidentals. Okay, I'm gonna draw my staff lines, And we're going to define those, okay? We're going to, define those particular terms, okay? So here's my staff lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and let's go with the treble clef. Okay, since a lot of times we tend to do that, I will show you an example in bass clef as well. Okay, because that's important that we know bass clef, especially for you guys who might be taking piano lessons. It's good to know the bass clef because you play or are playing the bass. Okay, it's good for you to know those musical concepts and these symbols through using the different clefs there. Okay, but here's the treble clef, right? And accidentals. Simply, accidentals are this. Accidentals are sharps, and flats. Okay, so if you've seen this in music, okay, if you've seen that like in musical decorations and things like that, not necessarily the apostrophe s, that was just to pluralize it, okay, but the sharp sign kind of looks like a hashtag sign, okay, whatever, okay, and then you have the flat signs, the flat notations here that look like a lowercase b, okay. Again, these are sharps and these are flats, okay. They all mean something basically. In other words, the sharps are really the I should say the half. It's something that you put in front of a note that extends the pitch by half a step higher. Okay, it makes it higher. All right, but only by a half a step. So what am I talking about? Let's talk about like the natural note. Okay, actually, I'm going to plug in my keyboard just for pitch precision here. Okay, let's say I happen to play a C, middle C. Okay, I'm sure you could probably hear. Hopefully, you can hear my. No, that was high C. Here's my middle C. Okay, so that happens to be middle C right there, and that's our C. It's a C natural. Okay, because I'm playing a white key. Okay, so that is our regular. I mean, you can't see what I'm doing, but trust me, that is a C natural right there. Now, if I wanted to play a C sharp, it's what you would put, okay, in front of okay, I'm gonna use a whole note, okay. Here's my C a regular C, a C natural, okay. If I put a sharp in front of it, my little hashtag sign, a sharp, okay, now it becomes C sharp, okay. All right, by the way, write this down, write these examples down, use the manuscript paper for this, okay? Get your notes in, all right? But that would be known as a C sharp if I put the sharp in front of it. But then what would that sound like? If this is C natural, regular C, that's regular C, C sharp would be a half a step higher. Okay, so essentially it just went from C, it just went a half a step higher. What I did right there is actually play the black key on the piano that's right next to the regular middle C, right next to that regular C natural, okay? So I played, that's actually literally a half a step away. So again, sharps make notes a half a step higher. I'm going to write that down. So sharps, okay, make notes half a step higher. Okay, write that down, please, so that you guys, you keep all those notes, okay? Sharps make a half a step, make notes a half a step higher, okay, than the natural one, okay? Now, what about flats? Okay, so let's say I take away this sharp sign, okay? No more C sharp. Now I'm going to make it a C flat, okay? So what does the flat sign look like? Oh, again, like the lowercase b. So you take that, and there's a flat sign. So now instead of it being a regular C, I made it a C flat. Oh, let's label that flat. By the way, when we're labeling the letter names to a note, okay, make sure that you're using uppercase. Uppercase is preferable. All musicians use it. In case you knew or not knew or whatever, uppercase is the way to go. Sometimes if we try to label them lowercase, they tend to, because of somebody's penmanship, they tend to take on the identity of some other letter. Look, it might look like some other letter. When you mean one thing, it actually looks like something else to somebody else. So they always use uppercase so that you can't mistake it, okay? But now this is a C flat, okay? So if we were playing the regular C, here's C natural again. C flat is really anytime you put a flat in front of a note, it becomes half a step lower, okay? It does the opposite. Sharps make notes half a step higher. Flats make notes half a step lower. So here's C natural. Here's half a step lower from regular C. So you have that C, C flat, okay? So that is literally a half a step lower from the original note. So write that down as well, okay? Here I'm going to draw a longer arrow over here, and I'm going to put flats make notes half a step lower. Okay, write that down. Okay, so again, sharps make notes half a step higher. Okay, flats make notes half a step lower. Okay, that's the function of the sharps and the flats. It's always a half a step difference from the original note, from the regular natural note. Okay, so there you go. But now, accidentals, these sharps and these flats, are used in what we call key signatures. Okay, so let's define key signatures. What I'm going to do is I'm going to erase. I'm going to take this out of the way. Okay. Now, actually, before we get into key signatures, okay, I do want to reiterate one thing. Okay, something that I went over briefly. Okay, it's very important that we also know the letter, how we figure out the letter names. If you don't already, if you're if you're a beginner in music theory, okay, it's good for you guys to know how to read the music. So let's start with the treble clef. The lines and spaces, as I stated before in a previous lesson, lines and spaces all take on a letter name, okay? And so for the lines, okay, we go by this little, what I like to call a formula. Okay, I'm going to write this down. I want you guys to write this as well. And I'm going to do a lot of erasing and, okay, this is going to take some time, okay? But, and I have to rewrite stuff, but make sure you get this down. I wrote this little phrase called "every good boy does fine," okay? Some of us know this, some of us might not, okay? So I'm kind of starting from the beginning a bit for those people who don't know, okay? If you guys know this, great, okay? But we're going to get to the core of the key signatures in a moment. But when we're reading our notes, when we're reading our line notes, any notes where the line passes through the note head, such as, you know, say I'm going to write a quarter note right here, okay? There's our quarter note on this particular line, happens to be on the on the word every, which is the E. That would make this an E note, okay? You would label it as E. That note gets the letter name of an E. Why? Because it happens to be on that bottom line. So in other words, when we're trying to figure out notes, when we're trying to read it, we need to memorize this, okay? So that's kind of an assignment that you guys should be doing after today, right? So in other words, if you're going to read the lines on the treble clef staff, again, this is the treble clef, you're going to say the phrase, "every good boy does fine," and then say the letter names, which is the first letters of each of those words, E, G, B, D, F, okay? Those are the letter names to every line on the treble clef staff, okay? All right. So hopefully you got this. If you didn't, hey, all you have to do is go back to the video. Go back to the video, write it down, okay? But once again, lines on the treble clef staff, think of the phrase, "every good boy does fine," and the letters of each, first letters of each word, E, G, B, D, F, all right? Okay, so now, I'm gonna get rid of these. Okay. Actually, given the time, what I'm going to do is, given the time, guys, what I'm actually going to do is I am going to do treble clef today and go over bass clef next week, okay? So that's actually what I'm going to do so that we have enough time to get in everything, okay? But let me just make sure I got lines over here. Okay, it's important to still have these lines because now we're going to go into our space notes, okay? What's a space note? Any note that is between the two lines, okay? Such as this, okay? I'm going to put a half note right here, okay? And so on the treble clef staff, we read notes that are the notes that happen to be where the note heads in a space between the two lines also get a letter name, okay? Here it is. Watch this. This is the formula for the spaces in treble clef. We're going to go F, A, C, and E, okay? I'll draw little circles, just to get the gist of a note, or imagining a note between the two lines, okay? But you spell out the word face when you start from the bottom all the way to the top, okay? So when you're trying to figure out what is the letter name on a space in the treble clef staff, think of the word face, okay? And just spell it. Easy peasy. In fact, that's usually the easiest one to remember, okay? So think of the word face, and you will have the letter names of each space. It's the quickest way to read music, to read letter names on a staff. Okay, it's the fastest way instead of going, E, F, G, going from line to space, constantly. This is the fastest way. So again, for the lines, it's every good boy does fine, working your way up, E, G, B, D, F. And then for the spaces, it's face, F-A-C-E. Okay? Memorize that. That'll help you read music a lot faster. Okay, so I am going to erase this. Hopefully you got that. If you didn't, once again, just rewind the video, go back to it, and write it down, okay? But I'm going to draw another set of staff lines, okay? Another set of, I'm just checking the time. So another set of staff lines. So the key signatures, okay? Key signatures. Now, this is a couple of rules that you're going to want to remember, okay? Now, that's why I also taught you the formulas for reading the staff, because this is where it's going to get important. This is where knowing how to read those letter names on the staff, on the treble clef staff, will help you also to read those key signatures. Now, what's a key signature? Well, let me show you. This is your treble clef, okay? And key signatures are basically using sharps and flats in a particular order, okay, to let you know what scale you're playing a song in, okay? It's one of the first things you actually see. Right after the treble clef, you'll see the key signature and then the meter. If you guys recall the meter, we use 4/4 as an example, right? That tells us, that's one of the first things, another one of the first things you see at the beginning of a song to let us know that we're playing 4 beats per measure and the quarter note gets 1 beat, okay? Knowing how to count before we start, okay? Well, the key signatures is also going to be telling us, if we're working with melodic instruments, harmonic instruments, okay, it's going to tell us what scale we're playing in, so we know what notes are expected to have accidentals or just be part of the scale, where they automatically have accidentals, either sharps or flats, but without the composer writing them in for every note, okay? Let me show you what I'm talking about. So let's start with just, one of the sharps as a key signature. In the beginning, you will have this right there at the beginning of a song, okay? Minus the meter, okay? You'll have the clef sign, and then you'll have a sharp. You may have one sharp right there at the very top line. Happens to be the F line. How do we know that? Our lines, right? Formula, every good boy does fine, okay? So that is our F, okay? But now, what did I say? When we have a sharp sign on that F line, that's really telling us that the note is F sharp. Okay, it's F sharp. Please write this down, by the way. This is F sharp. Okay, so now that we're in F sharp, okay, well, not that we're in F sharp. That's not the key we're in. Okay, let me reiterate that. We're not in the key of F sharp, but there is an F sharp. There is a sharp on the F line, okay, of this key signature. Here's the key we're really in. We're in the key of, I'm going to write this, I want you to write this as well. We're in the key of G. Okay? When we see one sharp placed on the F line to make it F sharp, we're in the key of G. Well, how do we figure that? Here's the rule, okay? I'm going to write this down. Rule for sharps. Okay, write this down. Rule for sharps. Here it comes. Take the last or only sharp and go up one step. Okay? That's the rule. Take the last or only sharp and go up one step. Okay? And that's what key you're in. Okay? That's the scale that you're playing your song in. So when we go up one step from the F line, which is F sharp because of that sharp sign, what's one step in the space just above the treble clef? When we go from F, what comes after F? G. Okay? You see that? So that is how you read a key signature that involves sharps, okay? The last, or in this case, only sharp is right there in the F line. We just take that only sharp that they have, we go up a step from the F, we're in G, we're in the key of G. And in the key of G, F is always an F sharp. There's always an F sharp. There's no F natural in the key of G. We're in the key of G. The F is always an F sharp, always. So that means every time you see a note, that means when you're writing, okay, or you're reading music, and every time you see a note in the key of G, and let's say I write a quarter note there, a quarter note on that F line. Whenever we see that without a sharp sign, it won't have a sharp sign, but the sharp sign, or the sharp sign will be in this key signature, right? So if this key signature has a sharp on the F line, but there's no sharp in front of, if there's no sharp placed in front of that note, we automatically recognize that note as being F sharp. Why? Because in the key of F sharp, before we even began, it told us that every F note will be an F sharp, not an F natural. Okay? Everybody understand that? That is how we perceive it. The key signatures tell us exactly what notes we're going to play and how we're going to play it before we even begin. Okay? It's a very good help to have. Okay? And that's the system that they use in music. Okay? But now, let's talk about flats. Okay? So I'm going to get rid of this. And this. Actually, we're talking about flats now, and I'm only going to use one flat sign, just the way I use the one sharp sign. By the way, if ever you see a sharp sign, you see one sharp sign as a key signature in anywhere else other than that top F line, if you see it anywhere else other than the top F line, you know that something's wrong, because you'll never see a single sharp in your key signature. You'll never see it in any other line or in any other by itself. In other words, if there's a single sharp sign, like say in this third line here, right? If you see it in by itself, that's actually wrong. Okay, the key of G is always one sharp on the top F line. Okay, so take that into consideration. Okay, but now I'm going to place, I should say, a flat sign right there on the third line, 1, 2, 3, third line, okay, of the treble clef staff, okay? And so I'm also going to take this off, because now we're talking about the rules for the flats, right? So here we go, rules for flats, okay? So this is a little bit different. Remember, flats also make a note half a step lower than its original. But with the flat sign, when we put a little lowercase b, the flat sign, right in this third line, and it always, by itself, whenever we're just using the one flat sign, it is always on the B line. Oh, how do we know that's a B line? Not just because the flat sign is there. No, it's not telling us that. But if we use our formulas again, what? Every good boy, okay, that is our B note, and there happens to be a flat sign for the key signature by itself on that B line. And it will always, whenever it's just one flat, it will always be on that B line, okay? So what does that mean? That means that we have a B flat as part of the key signature. Part of the key signature is a B flat, but does that mean that that we're in the key of B flat? No. We have to count steps, and we have to count down this time, okay? Remember, in the sharps, we went up one step, okay? And that's the best way to remember. Since sharps make the notes half a step higher and flats make the notes half a step lower, let's think when it comes to reading our key signatures, sharp go up, right? Flats go down, but the number is different. This time, we're going to count down 4 steps from the flat sign. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wait a minute. Where does the 4 land? The 4 lands on the F space. Wait a minute. How do we know that that's the F note? Why? Because face, right? Spaces in the formula for treble clef is face. F-A-C-E, F. That is our F note, which means that when we see a flat sign all by its lonesome in the key signature on that B line, making it a B flat, we're in the key of F. Okay? There you have it. Okay? So what did we do? What was the rule? I didn't specifically state the rule, but I did it. I used the rule in purpose here, and basically what you do is this. Write this down. Rule for flats. Take last or only flat and count down 4 steps. Okay? That is the rule for the flats, okay? So whenever you're reading, this is going to definitely come in handy not when we just have one sharp or one flat, when we, because I said last or only sharp, go up 1 step. Last or only flat, go down 4 steps, okay? So when there's multiple flats or multiple sharps, we're going to apply this rule when reading the key signature, okay? In this case, there only happens to be 1 flat in this key signature. We went down 4 steps from where it was, from that B flat, and then went down 4 steps and landed on the F space. Therefore, we're in the key of F, in that F scale. That's what we would be playing the song in, okay? And in the key of F, in the scale of F, B is always flat. It's always B flat, okay? So anytime we see another note, let's say I put a whole note right over here, okay? If we're playing a whole note in this 3rd line, okay, I don't have to put a flat sign in front of it. I don't have to do that. Why? Because the key signature already tells me that this note, anytime we see a note in this key signature, in the key of F, every B note is always B flat, okay? Why? Because the key signature already told us, okay? That is how we read the flats, and that's how we use the flats rule, okay, when it comes to key signatures using flat signs, okay? All right, guys, that is it. I hope you got all of this. Again, go back to the video, rewind, take those notes, okay? And we're going to start applying these. I'm going to talk a little bit more about using multiple flat signs in a key signature, showing you how that works, and also multiple sharps, and in the future also getting into using bass clef, okay, so that we have all this information, we understand what we're doing. When we're writing our own songs, or when we're trying to read a piece of music and trying to learn it, we know exactly what to look for and how to apply these rules, okay? All right, guys, and also remember to memorize the formulas for the treble clef. Every good boy does fine. For the lines, E, G, B, D, F, and for the spaces, think face and spell face, F-A-C-E. All right. Thank you guys very much for joining us. Let me sit down and come over to you guys. Thank you so much for joining us on today's session. Next week, we will be here again, same time, 4 o'clock until 4:30. Please, I encourage you guys to subscribe to my channel, Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy. Like and share my videos. Okay, spread the word. Okay, we're learning music. We're learning we're learning the intricacies and specifics about music. Okay, and in doing so, we must stay for the entire video. That's the only way we're going to really get every piece. Okay, so I encourage you, homeschooling parents, tell your kids, to stay in front of the computer, if we're doing this lesson, to stay in front of it and take in the whole half hour, because every detail is needed, okay? So that we can really get the hang of it, the gist of it, not even just the gist, the total understanding, so you can write your best songs, perform your best songs, everything, okay? Also, again, when you subscribe, also hit the notifications bell, so that you can get notifications on future lessons as they're coming up on YouTube. Also, become a member of Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy by going on to patreon.com/Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy, where you can be a member for the minimum of $1, and you get access to live Q&A, to video lessons on building your own music classroom, okay, and also for the virtual holiday open mic, okay, holiday open mic, which is exclusive to all those things, are exclusive to Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy members, okay? So join us, guys, and let's make music together, guys. Thank you once again. Please, thank you if you've already subscribed. Thank you so much for your support. Okay, please encourage others to subscribe. Okay, I want to keep doing music and keep sharing music to you guys. And I want you to be music scholars. Okay, I want you to be real music scholars and really understand this stuff. And you'll get to see also how, staying for the entire lesson. Also, you get to see how these kind of things apply to our academics, okay? It actually makes a lot of things in academics is reinforced through the concepts of music. And so it makes certain things in academics a little bit more understandable, guys, okay? So music really is in everything. You'll get to see that. I'll even start pointing them out a little bit more as we go along, okay? For instance, everything that we're doing here really has a lot to do with graph reading. Okay, so we use graph reading in mathematics as well as science. Okay, so this kind of reinforces that skill level. All right, but in any event, guys, thank you once again for joining me. And as I always tell all of my students, I wish you happy practicing. Enjoy your weekend. See you guys next week, 4 p.m. Take care. Eastern Standard Time.